Ahead tonight, tourism explains the impact of Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival. And coming up in sports, the nation's top swimmers honored this weekend. So don't go anywhere. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDon Davis, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news, for months now, controversy has been brewing about international headliners performing at the upcoming Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival. And with Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism announcing that the event be more authentically Bahamian, Bahamian musicians and entertainers are now pushing their support behind what they have dubbed as one of the country's biggest cultural investments, expected to take center stage on May 7th through 9th right here in the capital. At a press conference at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel this afternoon, musician Kirkland Bodie, who was a strong opposer of the international headliners and the Junkanoo Carnival, reasoned why he had a change of heart.
This is what we were looking for long ago. We wanted this to make sure that this is it represents our culture, it represents who we are, and we've worked hard and long through the years, myself, Gino, Ira, and many of us and these young musicians, to keep this culture alive. So we just want to say that since we're here, we're going in that direction, and in the future in this direction, that we're supporting our culture and that we're not trying to Trinidadianize or Caribbeanize our culture. We definitely support the Junkanoo Carnival in that vein.
Minister of Tourism Obi Wilchcombe, who was a member of the audience at today's press conference, also weighed in on the entertainers' decision to support the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival. He says he has always had a difficulty with Bahamians not being involved and sees this partnership as a win-win for musicians.
We need Bahamians to work, ensure that we have the best performance ever, and to draw people because they're coming to the Bahamas for the Bahamas and for things Bahamian. If they're in the United States, they can see anybody in the United States they want to see. So I'm very proud of the Bahamian artists. I think they've taken the right position. I'm looking forward to the April 11th concert. I'll be there to have a great time like everyone else, and I'm certain that they're going to bring greater prestige to the Carnival Junkanoo.
Now on to other news tonight. In light of the insurance controversy facing the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institute, the opposition Free National Movement is now calling on Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, to resign. In the House of Assembly on Wednesday, Minister Davis admitted that the contractor for the male dormitory under construction, Audley Hanna of Paradigm Construction, was in breach of the contract by not presenting an insurance certificate, and this, he confirmed, went unchecked by the Ministry of Works. During a press conference at the Free National Movement's Mackey Street headquarters this afternoon, leader Dr. Hubert Minnis maintains that the Deputy Prime Minister breached ministerial and parliamentary procedures.
Ministers owe a duty of care to Parliament and the people, which Davis breached either by deliberate dishonesty or lack of competency. The very definition of gross negligence is to say, or to refrain from saying something without the slightest concern as to whether or not his audience will be misled. Mr. Davis has plainly shown that lack of concern.
The FNM leader also announced that the party will soon request a national television and radio broadcast detailing BAMC's entire operation.
The country is unclear on how much of this money has been spent and exactly what the balance will be spent on. Furthermore, the Parliament has not had sight of the business plan to get a sense of how the Bahamian people will recoup such a hefty investment in an initiative that competes with the very commercial and educational enterprises it vows to assist.
ZNS News has spoken to Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis, who is mourning the recent passing of his mother. The DPM has promised a response to the call for his resignation after a review of the Free National Movement's statement. However, he did point out that any judgment on the expense of the rebuilding of the male dormitory at BAMSI would be premature, as the government has not yet indicated what course of action will be taken. We will have more from the DPM in Monday's newscast. The Bahamas Electricity Corporation has restored power to the entire island of New Providence. This comes after 2 nights of an island-wide blackout this weekend. A BEC statement issued late this afternoon confirmed that most generators are not working and supplies were restored to the last 5% of affected customers here in New Providence at 2:30 this afternoon. BEC officials say with the additional engines now in service, there is sufficient capacity to meet customer demand. Additionally, BEC crews continue to work on other units to bring those back online, which will provide the additional capacity for reserve. It's been just over 2 months since the government introduced value-added tax at 7.5%. How is that impacting the country's banking sector? Well, for Commonwealth Bank, its president Ian Jennings claims VAT's impact is calculated in 3 ways: customers, the bank itself, and the systems in place. He told our news team that for the most part, so far, so good.
As far as the customers are concerned, we've not really had a lot of feedback at the moment, and normal charges are not that high. That when VAT is added on it, it's a very significant amount. It's on the savings accounts, etc. In the past, whenever we've done something new, we tend to find it takes a couple of months for customers really to notice and start giving us feedback. As far as the bank is concerned, we just did our first filing. Our estimate was it was going to cost us somewhere between $1 to $2 million a year. Our first filing was $80,000, so that's in line with our estimates.
But it's not all smooth sailing. The Commonwealth Bank chief admitted the bank's systems endured some challenges.
We are challenged with some of our systems where our third-party vendors in getting everything in place. We've been able to apply workarounds. That's not perfect, but managed to comply with the regulations on certain things. The Ministry of Finance have given the banks a 6 months forbearance to address the issues. So we're continuing to work with our vendors to see whether we can beat that 6-month deadline.
Now to crime news this Sunday. Police credit excellent work for the arrest of 3 men and 2 women who police believed are the masterminds behind a stolen car ring over the past several months. Officers assigned to the police anti-crime operations team acted on a tip around 1 o'clock Saturday morning and went to Awak Key, where they arrested an adult male when it was discovered he was in a stolen vehicle. This led to the arrest of 4 others. Police recovered 8 other stolen vehicles from bushes on Gladstone and Soldier roads. Still on crime news, officers of the anti-crime operation also arrested 3 persons at a nightclub downtown. Authorities went to the establishment on Bay Street and Victoria Avenue shortly after 1 o'clock Saturday morning and met a woman from Jamaica along with a Bahamian woman who they believe were at that location for the purpose of solicitation for prostitution. The women were later arrested. Police also arrested the club's male owner for breaching the Business License Act. And still to come, a primary school choir preparing for a special international trip. That story and more when the weekend edition continues.